Hi, I'm Bethany, and this is Brittany, and we are Misconduct, and this is episode 1 on the Gabby Petito case.
Bam. Snap. Perfect. Okay, so do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
You go ahead, and I'll kind of roll off of you.
Okay, so I have a timeline of the Gabby Petito case. So this is from CNN.com. Let me just see here. So pretty much in June, Gabby and her fiance, I don't think they were fiancés at the time, apparently he did propose to her. However, I think they called off the proposal or the engagement because they said they were too young and they were just going to continue remaining together and I guess travel around the US in their van. So they left in June of 2021 to travel across the US. And then as of September 1st, her fiance, Brian Laundrie, returned home in the van without Gabby. So definitely very suspicious. And between, obviously, there's things that happen between June and September when he does arrive home with the van that I guess we will touch on and provide details within the case.
Yeah, there's a couple things I've heard on in the case. Someone I've talked to said that there was a witness who, when he saw the fiance, the man, Laundrie, in some city, I'm not sure which one it was, saying that he had 2 longboards and he gave away one of his longboards because he no longer needed 2, was his statement.
See, that's something I didn't hear. I knew that I saw in their Instagram posts or hers mainly that she was a longboarder, but I never knew. I never heard that where he gave away one of the longboards. So pretty much there's a lot to unpack within the between June and September. So like, where do we even start?
I know, like, what happened. I didn't know that they actually called off the engagement. I didn't even know that, but I mean, that's just a side point. So yeah, from what I can tell, I didn't watch the whole police video. There's a police footage cam video of like some sort of altercation that they had. So a bystander called 911. I guess she was kind of having a panic attack and kind of freaking out. No arrests were made. So that is one piece of, I guess, what you would call some sort of evidence that they have that something was going on.
Definitely. So I believe that was on August 12th. They were in Moab, Utah. And I guess another couple did call the police saying that there was an altercation between another couple, which would be Gabby and Brian. They were engaged in some sort of altercation. And the couple that did call the police said they were involved in a physical altercation or some type of argument. And they reported that to the police, and the police ended up finding or driving by and finding or pulling them over, I guess. And I guess as they're being pulled over in the van, it was Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito. They ended up hitting a curb as they were driving. It ended up being that I guess Gabby was pulling on the wheel, which would have caused, I guess, him to hit the curb, and they were driving erratically and speeding. So that's what did cause the police to pull them over. I don't know if they had any information from those who called law enforcement saying that there was a physical altercation between another couple, and maybe they said, hey, they're in a white van, this is the license plate, and that's where they got their info from. I would assume so, based on the questions that they were asking as soon as they pulled them over, versus just pulling over this van because it was speeding, and asking questions along that, because they kind of like, the police seemed like they went into the questioning automatically knowing what the situation was about.
Yeah, what I saw, one part that I did see, I kind of fast forwarded, and they were asked saying that they had seen marks on both of them, both of the Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. So I'm not sure. Nobody got charged though. They said that they were in love and they didn't want to see anybody charged. So that's why they didn't charge anybody. It is possible. I've heard too about a possible connection of some bodies of newlyweds that were found at a nearby campsite on August 18th. They both suffered gunshot wounds. I've heard that. I don't know much about it, but I did hear that theory.
Yeah, I know there's definitely many cases. Well, in this case, it could be connected. Apparently, the police made a statement stating that there is no connection
Mhm.
However, it would be the first time that law enforcement have withheld information.
Right.
They don't want to scare off Brian. Maybe they don't want to say like, oh, he's a person of interest or a suspect, and then he goes on the run, even though he's already on the run.
Which is what's happening now. Right. Now he's missing.
Spoiler
Missing.
alert, he's missing, or
Right.
so that's definitely a
Yeah.
spoiler alert. Um,
Yeah, there's a live still going on right now. They're doing a huge search. I think they said 250 acres or something like that of this huge park that they're searching where they think he might be. And it's very weird because his parents say they haven't seen him since Tuesday. It's Saturday now, so why report it now? It's like they gave him a head start or something.
that's the hard part is they received a statement from the family that he's located in this park in Florida near the family's home, that he'd like to go there. He said he was going there, he likes to camp there and hike there, but like how reliable is that information? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Have they ever
Because
been
it's
able to
coming
handle
straight
it?
from them, right?
Exactly. And it's like, are they hiding information because they want their son to have time to get away, or
Hmm.
are they actually concerned for their son's well-being? I'm sure there's a bit of both in the situation, where let's say even if he is on the run, I'm sure they're still concerned for his well-being.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
super interested to figure out what happens when they do find him. I heard the live that I was watching earlier. It said if they do find him, that all they would do is bring him back home because he's not considered a suspect in any crime, even though he's considered a person of interest. But he's overage. They can't make him go home. If he wanted to, he could just say, "No, I'm staying out here. I'm just having some me time." You know that he's an adult. They can't make him do that.
exactly. So he does live at his parents' house where he lived with Gabby. There's no
Hmm.
way he can force him to go home. He's an adult. He can live where he wants. I think that they mean like if he if they were to find him and he does, I guess, willingly return to his place of residence, because we're assuming that he doesn't have anywhere else to live or stay, that they wouldn't be able to do anything about it. They would
Right.
obviously like pretty much beg for him to answer some questions, but that would be all they
Hmm.
can do. And he doesn't have to. But I did want
Hmm.
to play a clip from the live footage that was filmed by WFLA last night. I'm pretty sure it's a news station in Florida. I'm not from Florida. I'm not from the US, so I have no idea what to give credit from for their footage. It was a spokesperson. I believe it's like the person who speaks out to the media whenever I guess there's like a criminal case going on. It's their designated spokesperson. And I noticed I was like half asleep. I was napping when I was listening to this, but I was still paying attention. He had a slip up, and I never heard it. And like I heard it myself, but no one ever mentioned it in the following comments, or
Hmm.
is the stream I was listening to does mention comments that people do write in the chat. So
Hmm.
I kind of was like waiting for like someone to like mention, oh, did you hear, like, did anyone hear that? Did anyone hear the slip up, or like bring it up? Or even while he was on the phone, still being talked to by the reporter, or after when the reporter was gone, to kind of like, I guess it's like not as confrontational, to say like, hey, did you see
Right.
it? But I want to play that because I was like, anybody, anybody hear that?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me hear that.
No, what I heard was he's just you could tell the person who was speaking, the spokesperson, was pretty frustrated because people were calling on law enforcement and saying how, oh, they should have had eyes on Brian. They should have known where he was, or done something in terms of being able to, make sure he's not fleeing, especially because he was the last person to see Gabby. I understand there's no crime that has happened yet, or
Hmm.
that we know of that happened yet, so they can't really, you know what I mean? Like they can't detain him. I guess that you could put surveillance on anybody, I would assume. I don't know if you have to have, sure, you have to have like reasonable information to have surveillance on him, which I feel like it, they would have realistically.
Right.
He's the last person has seen her, so we think that would be okay. But yeah, this is a slip that I heard. I'll quickly go over it. So anyways, they were talking, the spokesperson and the reporter. So this would be on WFLA. JB, I'm gonna may butcher this, Buno or Biono, and
Hmm.
Josh Taylor, Northport Police spokesperson.
Okay.
and they were commenting on Brian Laundrie's disappearance and just kind of follow up of them going into the house last night, the detectives, and then we later found out that they went in there and the parents were willing to speak because he was reported missing. It wasn't actually anything to do with Gabby's disappearance or information regarding that, but he said they were chatting, and then he says his frustrations about how they're in the middle of I feel like he meant to say missing persons investigation, but he said in the middle of and he stopped himself.
Oh, wow.
In the middle of a homicide investigation.
Right.
So I'm going to play that now. I feel like I didn't go back and read the comments. I'm like, did anyone else freaking notice that? Wow. Yeah, he said in the middle of a and then changes words to like a investigation or whatever, but it sounded like he was trying to say into a homicide investigation. So I'm gonna see if I can play that. Give me a second.
I also heard earlier they were on the live. One of the reporters was talking on the phone, and she said they found something, or some people think they said they found him, but they said they found something like a sleep site or something in the woods. They don't know if it was him, but I heard the reporter say that on the phone.
I heard too that I guess there was a Twitter rumor saying that there was a body found, but apparently that was all rumor. Well, the police were saying that it's all rumor, but again, it won't be the first time that law enforcement has kept that information from us, whether that be from a bystander, or I'm sure reporters realistically wouldn't share that information before they get the okay from law enforcement. Yeah, so that's a supposed or alleged rumor that there was a gun found, and another alleged rumor was that there was a gun missing from the Laundrie residence.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so let me play that clip. It may take a few seconds to get to it, and then I'll replay the part where he kind of does a little slip up.
Okay.
Earlier, and Josh, I just want this to be known here. This is a part of my job here is to explain how people are feeling out there based on some of the comments that are coming through on social media. And tonight there have been some people that have been extremely critical of the Northport Police Department and of the FBI, really of law enforcement here in Florida. I really, first and foremost, I appreciate you joining me here to kind of just explain with where we are. And again, a lot of comments out there that are very, very critical of how everyone in the world has...
You might be surprised that Facebook comments don't really do a whole lot for the facts in just about any situation in life.
But Josh, it's not just the Facebook comments. You had people out here outside of the home screaming at law enforcement all night. So this is not just one of those stories that's just on people pounding keyboards.
Look, I get it. I know that people are passionate, but I don't know who the hell goes out to a house to scream at a family when we're in the middle of a.
Did you hear that?
I did.
Let me go back. I won't go back all the way because I didn't realize how much more I played. Okay, I'm going to play it again. He said, when we're in the middle of a...
Yeah.
I'm going to do it one more time.
Now that's what we know. And we've been listening to media. And there seems to be some sort of insinuation that we were not truthful about anything in this case.
I think I messed it up. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, I think you went forward.
Wow. Directions, Brittany, directions. What am I doing here? Did I go that far forward?
I definitely heard that. That's crazy.
Let me see.
Person, Josh Taylor, you've been seeing Josh on...
In this case, is about finding Gabby. I can tell you that we're doing everything that we can.
Earlier, and Josh, I just want this to be known here. This is a part of my job here is to explain how people are feeling out there based on some of the comments that are coming through on social media. And tonight there have been some people that have been extremely critical of the Northport Police Department and of the FBI, really of law enforcement here.
In this case, is about finding Gabby.
Oh my goodness, why can't I find
coming
it?
through on social media. And tonight there have been some people that have been extremely critical of the Northport Police Department and of the FBI, really of law enforcement here in Florida. I really, first and foremost, I appreciate you joining me here to kind of just explain with where we are. And again, a lot of comments out there that are very, very critical of how everyone in the world has.
You might be surprised that Facebook comments don't really do a whole lot for the facts in just about any situation in life.
But Josh, it's not just Josh. It's not just the Facebook comments. You had people out here outside of the home screaming at law enforcement all night. So this is not just one of those stories that's just on people pounding keyboards.
Look, I get it. I know that people are passionate, but I don't know who the hell goes out to a house to scream at a family when we're in the middle of
yeah. It definitely got me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're in the middle of and then he keeps going.
He cuts himself off. Yeah.
Definitely. Wow. Cut himself off very quickly. Definitely. Yeah. Very quickly. And he probably was like kicking himself in the butt, but also like giving himself a big old hug to be
he sounded like he was mad. He sounded like he was getting frustrated, and maybe he kind of let his anger out and said that, but then cut himself off. Wow.
And as a media spokesperson, like you cannot let that stuff affect you. Mm-hmm. I feel like they need to pick someone who's level-headed as much as everyone's human and, may feel those emotions and not like to be called out upon, when there's really nothing they can do. They can't put surveillance on him, I guess, based on what they're saying. They can't do that. They can't put him into custody. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like nothing they can do. They've done everything they can. And plus, we don't know half of the stuff they have done.
Right.
So I could see why he's frustrated. And then there's obviously trolls on Facebook, and it's being from in every way.
I'm really excited. I feel like I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and there's going to be an update. I really, really hope so. I'm excited to see what happens. Not excited, but I really want to know what happened. I hope it comes out good. I hope she's just, on a go find yourself trip.
That's what, like, I was thinking too. They seem like people who are open to traveling and themselves, and living.
Maybe she doesn't even know she's been reported missing.
But I feel like, you know what I mean. Like if you speak to your parents, let's say every week or every
and now she hasn't. Right, exactly.
And
that's different.
You remember your phone number. There's going to be a way. If you want to contact somebody, you're going to find a way to contact them if you can, if you're able. Yeah. And that's why I don't feel like, you know what I mean, it's going to end well. And also, like Brian Laundrie, they released a statement saying that they don't want to speak to law enforcement because in most cases that it's the first person they speak to is the husband.
Right, the significant other, right.
And that's fine. And that's true. 100%. That's for sure true. They think that he's going to become the focus of the investigation. And I understand that because let's say like in how many percentage of cases, majority that is the case, but he's the person that they want to speak to, the focus, because he's the last person that's seen her.
Exactly. He left her. He left her out there. So.
And they were traveling together for months and months and they were partners. That's the reason why he's the focus of the investigation. And as much as like, he doesn't want to speak because he doesn't want to become the focus. What did he think was going to happen when he didn't speak?
Right, exactly.
But like, it's not just going to disappear. You could have made a statement like, hey, we got an altercation. We weren't getting along. I dropped her off here. And then I traveled back home.
Right. And then like, at least give them a point where to search, not just say nothing, He didn't even give them a point where to search, where he dropped her off at.
Or like any indication. There could have been like 100 different reasons of why everything was fine. Well,
there's so many scenarios. Like he could have done something, she could have gotten picked up and something horrible happened. Nature out there, everything.
Yeah, there's wildlife, bears, like who knows what else, plus other predators. Many indications, or again, she may be able to reach home. She just genuinely doesn't want to, or wants to find herself, or wants to start a new life, or is depressed, mental health. There's so many other reasons why, so him not speaking is really doing him more damage than just releasing a statement. whether I feel like he could have said it was an accident, or he dropped her off and would have fared better in the situation.
Much better chance, right? Yeah. Well, we will definitely keep everybody updated on the Gabby Petito case. I think right now we've covered most of it. So where do you want to go from here, Brittany?
What do you think happened?
Let's see. I think he doesn't seem to have a temper. I think he just left her out there and knows something bad happened. Like, he left her out there and drove off. He knew he did something wrong, and that's why he's not saying. And the fact that she's missing and hasn't turned up, he knows something bad happened. So he is not talking. Maybe he didn't necessarily do it, but he left her out there and left her to die pretty much.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good take on it for sure, that he, left her out there and then he was a witness to something, or just kind of knew that, and or knows now the fact that she hasn't spoken to anybody, or
exactly the fact that she hasn't spoken, that she's missing. So right. Hi, kitty. This is Charlie. She'll be in our video sometime.
No way. You want to see? Guess what the dog I'm watching is? What? Guess what its name is?
Charlie.
Charlie. Named Charlie. Come here, monkey. Come here. He's sleeping. Charlie, I'm gonna get him. Come here, baby. I have a treat. Let me pretend. You want it? Come here. There he comes. Come here, Charlie. This is just fabric. It's not a treat. Come here, monkey.
Charlie.
There's Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie likes to drool. And he also knocked me over today on the walk. I fell down. I haven't fallen down in years. I was like, oh my God, I fell down. I fell on the ground. I was like, where's my life alert button? Like, I've fallen and I can't get up. Like,
help, I've fallen and I can't get up.
I literally haven't fell down in forever. I was mortified. I was in the front lawn and my knee started bleeding and I have grass stains on my legs. And I was like, I'm never going outside again. But anyways, back on the case. So I feel like he snapped. I feel like he literally just snapped.
You think so?
Yeah. So in that altercation they had, I think it was on August 13th, where they were pulled over because they were having an altercation that was reported by another person. Gabby was genuinely upset. She was crying and kind of bawling her eyes out and saying that he kind of saying how she has OCD, and he was calling her she made a reference to her vibe, that her vibe was off. So he's saying your vibe was off, or telling her these things about her. And I feel like I've been in that situation before, because she said that she's OCD, she likes things clean, she likes things a certain way. And of course, when you're asking someone, hey, can you pick up, can you do this, can you do that,
maybe he's like a narcissist, a psychopath narcissist or something.
And I feel like he's gaslighting her in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's asking him, hey, can you maybe pick up after yourself? And he's like, you have OCD, you're so particular, your vibe is off, you're ruining the vibe, and just throwing all this stuff at her to kind of make her question, can you just maybe pick up a sock that you threw on the ground?
Right.
She knows what it was. But he seemed really calm, and she seemed obviously genuinely upset. But that's where I feel like she looked like someone who was.
Right. I've been in those situations before too, and that's how they are. They stay calm, and you look crazy because you're freaking out, and they're calm.
Questioning yourself, am I going crazy?
That's emotional abuse. And like the cops said, they saw marks on both. So there's definitely physical, whether they reported it or not, there's some type of physical, hopefully. I mean, not hopefully, but from what the police saw, there's some fresh wounds on both of them.
And that could be documented. I doubt they took pictures, because they said in the...
Right, but it's definitely documented.
They were giving her a huge chance, being like, hey, when you threw that phone at him, because I guess she hit him in the face with her phone, because I guess he was trying to get him to calm down, but they said answer this very carefully. they were like, just think about it. When you answer this, they were like super clear. Be very careful with what you say. When you hit him, were you trying to harm him?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and then when they gave her the opportunity, like clearly to say no. And I don't think maybe she was frustrated. I don't think she was trying to hurt him. I think she was just maybe frustrated. She said she was trying to get him to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, okay. So there was no intent of harm. So that's why she didn't get arrested, because they said that he was the aggressor. So they really gave her a very wide explanation and chance to answer correctly. Not face charges or get arrested, which, you know, I understand why they did that, because, you know, you don't want those charges on your record for something serious, if you're just in a small
especially when she could very potentially be the victim there.
Exactly. But you know what I mean? If they were, let's say one was taken into custody, like would we be in the situation that we are in
exactly
now?
Right
Who knows? We don't really know. There was a FaceTime on August 25th with her and her mom, so that was the last time that she was, like, I guess, physically seen. And then there was another text later on in August, before September, saying that there's no service in Yosemite.
Yeah, that was the last text sent. And apparently her mom said it was 4 words, and that is not how her daughter texts. She doesn't believe that text was sent from Gabby. She thinks it was sent from Brian.
And that's, I agree, but also too, apparently they weren't headed to Yosemite. That was 800 miles or something like that away.
Off track,
off track. So that's another addition, you know what I mean? And no service, but obviously there was enough service. There's my other dog. There was enough service to that text sent, and for obviously a parent's going to know how the person texts, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't sound right, even if the text wasn't going to go out or there was no service, you send it and wait for it to send, you know?
Exactly.
Like, hey, no service in Yosemite or wherever I am. Talk to you soon. Love you. Whatever.
Exactly.
And then Brian got home on September 1st, and
by himself.
Yep. The van was taken into custody and forensics were done on it. Those are still being processed.
Hopefully they find something in there that leads to some kind of evidence or something.
They did find something, and I heard another, I don't know if it was from a YouTube video or a podcast or what it was, but that they mentioned it was a personal belonging. Found. So I don't know if that means to Brian or to Gabby, like who's belonging.
Or if that matters because they were staying there, but obviously
DNA, right? Like, you're going to find both DNA. Well, you should.
Exactly. You should, unless it's been totally cleaned out for a reason.
Then the lack of DNA also would be a huge thing as well, right? Like if I don't find any of Gabby's DNA, like she was living in this van for 3-4 months there, that's not, you know what I mean? And
there should be loads of both of their DNA.
But like, are you really going to clean that much? And even you still got to be in the van for a period of time when you're driving back. You're not cleaning the minute you get there. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then and then as of yesterday, Brian was reported missing. But police said that they did know where Brian was in previous statements, but I haven't had a confirmed statement saying that there were actually eyes on him. Apparently,
I have not heard anything confirmed yet.
I heard a neighbor did see him. I think it was
walking. I heard that
Tuesday. The neighbor saw him, but I find that hard to believe, because I feel like there's so much media that's going to be outside the house, people protesting since yesterday. Are you really going to leave your house? I feel like
be anyone, right?
Yeah. So who knows when the actual last reported sighting was of him, where he is, if the parents are saying his last known location is true. He could have been on the run since September 1st.
He could be planning this the whole time.
100%. And that's what I was thinking. This whole thing could have been pre-planned. This whole, I'm going to go on a road trip in July. You know what I mean?
And plan
it. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have a specific day he was going to do it, but knew that they were alone. They're going to national parks. They're going to be camping in like desolate areas. Who knows?
Right.
No idea. And his parents know something. 100%. There's no way.
Absolutely.
Whether he told them or I'd be like, if you want to stay in my house, you're gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
No way.
There's no way they don't know anything.
And for them to only decide to cooperate now when their son is missing,
right,
or on the run, which they need.
Right.
Let's say if their son is missing, now you're gonna cooperate. Like, oh, do you like now? Do you know how it feels? Which is it's not even the same caliber of like missing persons case because we don't really know the
status. Is he on the run or is he missing? What is it?
But it's like, oh, now you want to cooperate? Oh,
right.
Like,
thanks.
but they're only cooperating in terms of him.
Right. Exactly.
Which is ridiculous. And I'm
Not
sure
right.
any logical person would have asked questions. Well, like, what happened? Where is she?
Right. What can I do to help?
Yeah, she lived in the house with him.
Right, exactly. She lived there. Like, what can I do to help?
Yeah. And apparently he moved their stuff right after he got home into storage. They moved both of their stuff into storage.
Oh, wow.
Weird, because it's, you know what I mean? If he thought she was gone, then maybe throw it out, or maybe he just wanted to get rid of it. He didn't want to have to see it, or maybe there's DNA, or maybe he was abusive in the past and there was maybe like blood or
something, right?
That shows like past physical abuse. Like we have no way, we have zero.
Right.
It's all speculation from here, and that's the hard part.
Yeah, we just have to wait for an update.
And as much as like we don't want to speculate, but if you make your bed, you got to lie in it.
Yeah, it seems like he's on the run for sure.
I agree. I feel like he's somewhere in like Mexico.
Yeah, something. All right. Well, like we said, we will keep you guys updated. And this is the Gabby Petito case.
Cut.
All right, cool.
Perfect. Okay. I'll hopefully record